Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 244. So this was the week where we had the event over them all, the Tesla We Robot. The event itself was a little underwhelming, as always with Tesla, but they did show us the future, and the people at the event showed us a lot of cool stuff that we didn't get to see at the live event. And Ford is at it again, having trouble with their quality of the cars. And BEV sales in Germany are now back growing again. And Tesla just launched a new model here in Europe, a new version of the Tesla Model 3. And Stellantis is struggling, and profits has dropped 50%. And the growth of EVs in my country is off the charts, and it's a good showcase of how quickly it can happen, and is happening much faster than it did in Norway. And the Cybertruck comes to the rescue for stranded people after the hurricane in Florida. And the Tesla semi-truck factory is coming up with lightning speed. All of this and much more in today's episode. Start right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So the day had finally arrived where we got to see Tesla's Robotaxi called the Cybercab. But they did show off a little bit more than just one Robotaxi.
I'm here at the We Robot event, and this is EV Dave reporting for Best in Tesla. Lars would have made it, but unfortunately he couldn't. So you guys get to see what's going on. This is the main square. Food, drink are here. The festivities will start soon. As you can see, there's lots of people and there's lots more still coming.
So Tesla finally held their We Robot event. And there were both some disappointments and some very cool stuff. The live event itself did not quite live up to the hype, as we have seen so many times before with Tesla. They did show off the Cybercab though, and it was looking very cool with its golden look, and it looked very much like the concept car we have seen in the book about Elon. But we didn't get much detail about the Cybercab itself. They had a nice little video presentation running on the big screen, but we didn't get a lot of information about the vehicle itself or the production method I was hoping for. But they did roll up a Robotaxi van as well that could seat 20 people for a truly affordable ride inside the cities. So that was cool to see. But one very surprising thing was that all of us are going to be able to buy a Cybercab for below $30,000. So that Robotaxi is not only going to be for Tesla, but for everyone. So everyone can basically have their own little fleet of Tesla Cybercabs working for them. So that was very interesting. The timeline for the Cybercab was 2026 at the earliest, but we should get full self-driving unsupervised in the beginning of 2025, starting in Texas and California. So Robotaxis should slowly start to become a thing next year from Tesla. So that's pretty cool. And they did share that the cars will be able to drive to its self-cleaning station, where robots will clean the car, and there will be wireless charging at the spot as well. So cool to get some confirmation on their wireless charging. But we did get to see some Cybercabs ride at the event, where Tesla had 20 Cybercabs driving people around, which was very cool to see from all the people that was there. Not something that Tesla showed much of at their live event. But Tesla also showed their Optimus robot at the event, and a little video that was very cool. Tesla is quite far along with the robot, and had the robot walking among the people there, serving them drinks and interacting with them. The robots could even talk and react to what you were saying to it. So I thought that was so cool, but nothing that Tesla talked about at the event. That was kind of weird, but we did also get a little glimpse of the next generation hand at the event. Again, not something Tesla showed us, but something people at the event showed us. So we didn't get a lot of details about anything really, which was the disappointing part of the event. I'm sure the people there had a blast and got a lot more information about the robots they were talking to and the Cybercab that they test drove at the event, but not something Tesla was very good at sharing to the world. But nice to get a glimpse into the future of transportation. And I will bet you guys watching are spending a fair amount of time online and on your connected devices. I know I am. My job is being on a computer all day. And when I'm not working, I might be streaming some entertainment on some of my smart devices. And all my personal information is on my smartphone. That is why using a VPN server is a very good idea and why I have partnered up with today's sponsor, NordVPN. Because VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. And private being the key word there. A VPN will encrypt internet traffic and hide your IP address and virtual location, so it will boost your privacy and security online, which is much needed these days. And a VPN protection makes hacking close to impossible. So for me, this is one of the most important things about using a VPN provider, to get that peace of mind that your data and online activities are secure. Because NordVPN does much more than just change your IP address. It blocks malware, stop intrusive tracking, block intrusive ads on the spot, and it has always on cybersecurity. So even if you're not connected to a VPN server, it still protects your online browsing. But of course, I also use the ability to change my IP address all the time, as I can get access to a lot more content on streaming services like Netflix, because there is different content depending on your location. So if I want access to something on Netflix that is only available in the US, I just turn on NordVPN and change my location to the US, and voila, my digital location is now in the US, and the user interface couldn't be any simpler. You just click the country you want your IP address to be in, and that's it. Couldn't be any simpler. If you want to check it out, and you should if you care about your online privacy and security, NordVPN have a great deal for you. By clicking my link down below, you will get 4 bonus months for free on a 2-year plan. And it's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. So click the link down below to get started today. And a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Ford is at it again, having trouble with their quality of their cars, and has ended up the most recalled automaker in the US again. Ford was once again the most recalled automaker so far 2024, while Tesla was one of the least recalled according to NHTSA's data. Only 0.8% of Tesla's recalled required service center visit. The rest was done with an over-the-air update. But take a look at Ford. 24% of their cars has been recalled. I mean, that's just some crazy numbers. So 1 out of 4 vehicles from Ford is going to get recalled. Damn, that is going to make me not want to buy a Ford. That is a high chance of getting your car recalled. And remember, Ford had the same problems last year when Jim Farley said that their number one priority was quality and getting their recalls down. But they are still as bad as ever. I'm sorry, Ford, but I think you need to change your slogan from build tough to just tough to build. But then we hear about Germans' great build quality, but see that they also have a huge amount of recalls. But I will bet you that those panel gaps was just perfect on every single one of those 27 recalls that BMW had. But EV Dave also wrote to me that his 2022 Lightning has received no less than 8 recalls so far. Damn. But Tesla's over-the-air recalls in the US affected 4.4 million vehicles, but Tesla's physical recall affected just 36,000 vehicles, or about 0.8% of the total. Tesla had fewer recalls in the US so far this year than almost every other large automaker. Yep, Tesla builds nice, reliable electric vehicles. The BEV sales in Germany are now back growing again. What do you know? Alex throwed some facts on the tables this week in this post. To all claiming BEVs don't sell in Germany. September 2024, vehicle sales, so the total vehicle sales, is down 7%, but BEVs are up almost 9%. Petrol is down 15%, diesel is down 22%, BEVs are up almost 9%. Don't believe in the wrong narrative mainstream media is trying to constantly feed to you and the so-called experts publish. Yes, I have been saying this all year. The slowdown in BEVs in Germany is temporary as people get over the shock of losing the EV incentives, as we have seen play out in so many other countries, and now in Germany as well. They have been down for the first 7 months, but now BEVs is back growing again, and that will only accelerate from here on out. And Roland also reported on the German numbers, and as he wrote, BEVs adoption in Germany reached its highest level this year in September, even higher than January to April 2023, when Germany had incentive for BEVs. The media made a big story about the 57% plunge in BEV sale in August compared to the same months last year, but they didn't tell you that August 2023 was the exception. For a reason, let's see if in September they talk about the record penetration of the year so far or the 14% year-on-year increase. My guess is that the media will point out that BEV rates have fallen over the last 2 years. Yes, the growth will probably happen a lot faster than most people think. If you want to learn more about the catalyst that is coming through the next 5 years that will make the transition to BEVs faster than it was in Norway, I made a whole video about it this week where I took a deep dive into all the numbers and the facts. So if you want to learn more and haven't seen that one yet, you should definitely check it out. Link down below. And Tesla just launched a new model here in Europe, a new version of the Tesla Model 3. The Model 3, with the longest range ever, has announced its arrival. This week, Tesla announced a new configuration for their Model 3 program in Europe, the Model 3 Long Range with rear-wheel driving. With a range of 702 kilometers WLTP and a consumption of just 12.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, this long-range version is the Model 3 with the longest range ever, making it the most efficient Tesla vehicle produced to date. So the most efficient and the best price in relation to the range on electric car market in Denmark and the rest of Europe. The Model 3 long range with rear-wheel driving is available in my country with a starting price of 340,000 Danish crowns. Wow, that is in the ID.3 price range. That is going to hurt the ID.3 sales so badly in Europe. Why would anyone get that little small compact car when you can get this one with more of everything for the same price? As Tesla said, you will actually pay more per kilometers of range in the ID.3 that only has a WLTP range of up to 601 kilometers. But that is actually the GTX version that is actually about $3,000 more expensive than the Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. So you will save $3,000 but get 100 kilometers more of range. Yep, Tesla's car has always been very good value for money with all the features and performance you get for the price. But this version is just insane value for money. It is the most efficient electric car available in Europe today. This superior range and reasonable price has been made possible through their continuous engineering effort focused on energy efficiency and cost reduction. Yes, something the other guys should do. But they are much more focused on the cost reduction for the whole company instead and talking about closing plants and firing people. So it's not that kind of cost reduction Tesla is talking about here, but the fact that they try every single day to make the product better and cheaper to produce. And because of this new model, Tesla has lowered the price of the standard range Model 2, now starting under 300,000 Danish crowns in my country. This is the first time you can get a Tesla for under 300,000 Danish crowns. That is the same price as all the crappy versions of the ID.3. Tesla is just killing the competition right now. This is not a car that should be compared to the ID3, as Tesla's Model 3 is a much better car in every single way. It's a car that should be compared to a BMW M3 series or something like that. And the fact that this Model 3 now has a starting price of a compact middle-class EV in Europe, but outperforms the premium brand in performance and some luxury features like screen in the back and ventilated seat and software assist features is just insane. Stellantis is struggling, and their profits has just dropped 50%. Ouch. CNBC just made a report about Stellantis that is now openly talking about the huge trouble they're in.
It is an understatement to say that H1 2024 results were disappointing and humbling.
As their sales have collapsed in the US, and as a result the stock price has done the same. Since March this year, the stock has dropped 50% in value, and at the same time Stellantis has dropped 50% of its profits in the US. And like one of the dealers said in this CNBC report, that Stellantis has 900 dealers in the US that are losing money. And there's no longer any talk about EVs in the future. The only thing they're talking about now is how they're going to get rid of that inventory that has been piling up. And Stellantis branded cars are the ones with the cars sitting the longest at the dealership lots. And as you can see here on this chart from CNBC, the one with the shortest time at the dealers is Toyota with about 30 days. But Tesla doesn't have dealers, so they are not on this list, but Tesla has an average of 16 days of inventory. So Tesla is the one in the US doing the best when it comes to days of inventory. So that is also something to keep in mind when we hear about doom and gloom from the mainstream media about Tesla's sales in the US. But I do disagree a bit with the notion from the automotive experts in the CNBC report that they think that Stellantis hybrid powertrain that can be made into both gasoline cars, electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids is a winning strategy. I personally think that is a losing strategy, as they will not have a very efficient electric vehicle. And sure, the EV adoption in the US might not be as fast as in Europe and especially in China, but I expect it's going to accelerate very fast over the next couple of years. And then Stellantis is going to sit with an EV that can't really compete with the competition, especially not on cost, as it is not a pure EV platform. I think this might help them short term over the next 2 years or so, but then the decline will happen fast after that. But of course, the sentiment that electric vehicles are the losing strategy is also voiced by the dealership.
I think either Mr. Tavares or somebody has got to take a more aggressive strategy on what our product plans are and understand that electric, if it's an immediate product plan, is going to be a complete failure.
So I think Stellantis might be doing some short-term adjustment here, but since Stellantis themselves and their dealerships in the US are not focusing on the car of the future, the BEV, I personally think this is only a temporary bandage on an open wound. I think eventually Stellantis, that is a fusion of companies in trouble under the 2008 financial crisis, is going to go bankrupt once again. Maybe try to make another fusion, maybe with the leader of the EV race, GM. No, not Tesla. Stellantis has nothing to offer Tesla. But in a couple of years, GM might find themselves in the same kind of trouble that Stellantis find themselves in today. And the saga of the old legacy automakers in trouble and merging together will continue. And the value of the dealerships are also dropping, as Stellantis dealerships used to be valued at a 5 to 5.5 times earnings to only 1 to 2 times earnings depending on the dealership's location. So as I talked about before, some of all these assets that people like to tell me is not dead for the companies. Well, if the asset loses most of its value, it's not going to be a very nice asset, is it? Just like the old outdated ice factories are no longer a good asset, as they have to spend billions of dollars to retool them, as I made a whole video about before. Then that asset would also become a burden and no longer a great asset for the company. But anyway, it looks like Stellantis is in big trouble in the US, so let's keep an eye on them over the next 6 months or so and see how it develops. But I did make a whole video about the trouble Stellantis is in, so if you want to learn more and take a deep dive, check that video out, link down below. But we have to stop up and take a little time looking at my country, because what is happening here with BEVs are just amazing. Because Le Raffle, which I have used charts from before, keeps bringing up some great charts. You should definitely follow him on X. He does some amazing work. But as he wrote, Denmark, September 2024 BEV trajectory. 57% trailing 12 months, 47% BEVs, 8,800, hybrids 600. Yes, they are dead in my country, and ICE cars just above 6,000. Denmark is even surpassing the already high expectation in September. At that rate, they'll hit 60% this year still, and 80% early 2026. Amazing how fast this happens in Denmark, and even more amazing how close they fit the S-shape. And on this chart, you can see that hybrids have already peaked in my country. So this is also what happens when you don't have automakers in your country pushing for the wrong technology. As I just showed you in Germany, where hybrids are still taking up a much bigger market share. But here in Denmark, with no automakers pushing for a certain technology and just let the consumers make their choice, well, this is what happens. But as Le Raffle also wrote, this is such a fast and such a consistent thing, it is mind-blowing. Can you imagine? They were at 5%, give or take, when COVID hit. That still feels like yesterday to me, and now they're closing in on 60%. And just 2 years ago, BEVs and hybrid were even comparable. Can you imagine? 2 years. Now it's 60 to 5% instead of 2020. Yes, this is how quick it can happen. I have talked about it many times before, and that Norway was the first, but there are many countries in Europe that are actually making the shift faster than Norway did, and Denmark is one of those countries. Norway went from about 5 to 60% in about 7 years, and it seems like Denmark is going to do that in about 4 years. So yes, hybrid might be a thing now, some places, and doing pretty well, especially in countries with automakers, but give it 2 years and I think the story will be very different. And Denmark and Norway will probably be good indications of what will happen. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. We got another example of how ICE supercars are just dead. McLaren unveiled their W1, the successor to their P1 hypercar, which was released 9 years ago. So, a car you would buy to show off and drive fast. But we don't even have to compare it to something like the Plaid Model S, but the Cybertruck. Or the Cyber Beast, which weighs 6,800 pounds, but is slightly quicker 0 to 60 than this McLaren W1, which weighs only 3,300 pounds. The Cyber Beast does the 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, the McLaren does it in 2.7 seconds. And both of these cars are going to turn heads on the street, but one is only $100,000 and the other 2.1 million. And the one is nothing but a race car, and the other is also a useful pickup truck. Yes, like I said many times before, the value you get for your Tesla is just unreal. And speaking of the Cybertruck, it is getting more praise from reviewers. Consumer Report praises Cybertrucks for its sports car-like driving characteristics. Out on the road, it kind of feels just like a big Model 3. And if you can't see what is happening, well, here is a nice illustration of cars production through the years. First, the arrival of the Japanese in the 60s and 70s. But then we have China coming in and have taken car production to a level no country has ever seen before. And now they're ready to take on the world with their electric vehicles. And Tesla has released a new video about their solar installation at the Berlin factory. But let's hear it from Tesla themselves.
Hi, my name is Jeroen. I'm working for Tesla for 8 years now. I've worked in various roles and it's unlocked me to work on cool projects like this. On the factory roof, we already have a lot of solar, but we run out of space, but we wanted to do more. So we looked into our car park, and as you can see, it's pretty big. So we have a really nice spot in front of the factory where we have installed 226 wall chargers for our employees and everybody who wants to use them. So we decided to build a 5,000 square meter solar canopy. And we installed over 2,600 solar panels. In total, we will generate almost 1 megawatt of solar power.
and Tesla was revealed as the only AAA-rated supplier in a new battery storage tech bankability report. So the car company continues to do a bit more than just cars, and better than everyone else in that industry. And we got some more news about Northvolt this week, but unfortunately not any good news. Swedish Northvolt said on Tuesday that one of its subsidiaries had filed for bankruptcy after its project it was developing was cancelled, while the rest of the cash-strapped battery-making group continues to consolidate operations. The Northvolt unit have been responsible for a planned tripling of capacity at the group's gigafactory in northern Sweden, but its board last month cancelled the project. All contract with its expansion, AB, will from now on be managed by the bankruptcy trustee, Northvolt said. And Giga Berlin has produced its 400,000th Tesla Model Y since production began in March 2022. For comparison, the Ford F-150 Lightning that started production about the same time in April 2022, well, they have sold about 55,000 units. Yes, Tesla knows a thing or two about ramping up EVs that the old guys still have to learn. And Rivian cuts its 2024 production forecast by 15% due to the copper winding shortage for its Enduro motor. Earlier this year, a miscommunication, which is sole supplier along with Rivian's miscalculation of its demand, led to the shortfall. Excess has since diverted supply to other customers, and now it cannot fulfill Rivian's requirements, according to Bloomberg. So Rivian now expects full-year production to be between 47,000 and 49,000 vehicles, down from its earlier forecast of 57,000 vehicles. The forecast cut means that the company now expects to make fewer vehicles than it did last year. So no growth for Rivian in 2024, with only around 50,000 in global production. Not the best situation for Rivian, that still needs to grow a lot to become profitable. And the Tesla Cybertruck factory is coming up with lightning speed, and they have even started putting up the outer walls. And the technique is very cool. It only takes them about 5 minutes to put up one of these wall sections. This factory is going to have walls up in no time at all. And I'm going to travel for the next 2.5 weeks to Sri Lanka to be part of a tuk-tuk rally with the other guys from Best in Tech. So we will of course make some great videos about that, so stay tuned for that. But that also means that I don't know how consistent I can be with the content over the next couple of weeks. But I will do my very best to keep you updated with all the news. And if you have not seen our latest videos about us having a battle against the Brits in tanks shooting paintballs, you're definitely missing out. I will leave a link to that video down below, so check it out. It will no doubt brighten up your day. But Porsche also recalled 80,000 Taycans worldwide, as Alex wrote on X. The reason is potential problem with the high voltage battery, which could lead to overheating and fire. Yes, again. And 80,000 units, that is more than 2 years of global deliveries. Ouch. And if you think it's a problem having an EV in a place like Florida that get hit by hurricanes, well, Eddie here might disagree with you, as he wrote. Getting a direct hit by Hurricane Milton in Sarasota right now, but our Cybertruck is keeping the power and communication running smoothly as if nothing happened. Thanks so much to Musk and Tesla for making such an incredible vehicle. And add a Starlink to that and you will never lose communication as well. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My 2 new YouTube members, Gerbert Selesi and Spody. And a quick shout out to my updated Patreon, Dog Pauli. Thank you so much for your awesome support. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a little bit of fun. Remember, when you're training, it's always best to train specifically for what your goal is. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help the video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.